The UFC is back on Saturday night with another fight night in the middleweight division. We have got Israel Adesanya, ranked number 4, going against the new up-and-coming Joe Pyfer, ranked number 14. This is an interesting matchup where it's the old guy versus the new. It's obviously the former champion in Israel coming against the young up-and-coming contender in Joe Pyfer, who's on an absolute tear at the minute. And, this is the biggest test of Joe Pyfer's career. This is also a do or die for Izzy. If Izzy loses this, then he potentially could be done in the sport of mixed martial arts. But you know how we do it. We're going to talk about one guy, and then we're going to talk about the other. So let's get straight into it. So Israel Adesanya, ranked number 4 at middleweight, one of the greatest fighters of all time. I don't think he gets as much credit as he's due because of recently. But this guy has been an absolute legend since he's come inside the UFC. So many wins over ranked guys, only lost to the best guys. I mean, he's done it all. Become a 2-time champion. He's never ducked anyone. When people look at resumes, Israel Adesanya's resume is one of the best ever inside the UFC. But let's go on to he's 24-5, decent record. All 5 losses are inside the UFC. 16 KOs with no submissions and 7 first-round finishes. He's one of the best kickboxers out there, And the way he is, he was a former kickboxing world champion. Then he switched up and come into MMA and has had the success like he has. You don't see it often with the kickboxers and that, but Israel was probably one of the best to ever do it in that transition. But his wins, big wins, obviously he's got Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares was ranked at the time. Israel, I think he had 2 fights inside the UFC or 3, and then has already gone straight into a ranked. Dominated Brad Tavares. That was my decision. TKO Derek Brunson. That was a complete shutout. Then fought Anderson Silva. That was kind of how this fight is. It was the new up and comer against the legend. That was a fun fight, to be fair. People say, Anderson didn't have it. Of course he didn't have it, but it was back and forward, a nice kickboxing matchup. Then fought Kelvin Gastelum in an absolute belter of a fight. If you haven't watched that fight, go give it a watch. It is absolute cinema. It's also in the Hall of Fame for being that good of a fight. The UFC do Hall of Fame fights, and this is a Hall of Fame fight. They got inducted last year, I'm pretty sure. It was a special fight, especially for me. I was just properly getting into the UFC, and this was one of the first all-out wars I've watched, and it was amazing. Then fought Robert Whittaker for the title, knocked him out. Then who else did he face? He fought Yoel Romero. That was a really awful fight, one of the worst fights in history. But at the end of the day, Izzy still signed up to fight him. Romero realistically didn't deserve the title shot, but still got it anyway because it was Izzy wants to fight, Izzy's active, and that beat him. Then fought Paulo Costa when Paulo Costa was undefeated. It knocked him out. Then I'm pretty sure, then fought Marvin Vettori. Who else did he fight after Vettori? I think, it was the second time he fought Vettori. He's already beat Vettori previously before they were ranked. So that's 2 wins over Vettori. Beat Jared Cannonier, Robert Whittaker again. The guy, well, let's just list it back to back. Alex Pereira, Paulo Costa, Kelvin Gastelum, Marvin Vettori twice, Robert Whittaker twice, Yoel Romero, Anderson Silva, Jared Cannonier, Brad Tavares, Derek Brunson. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 12 massive wins at middleweight. When you look at the middleweight division, these are all guys who have been in title challengers, top 5s, former champions. These guys are the best of the best in middleweight history. If you did a top 20 of best middleweights, majority of these guys would be on the list. Obviously, Israel's losses. His first loss ever was to Jan Blachowicz, but that was at light heavyweight. Israel moved up to try to be champ. And at the time, Jan Blachowicz was on an absolute tear through the UFC. Lost a decision on him. Weren't a bad one, You've lost to the champion. Okay, he lost to a champ. Then his second loss was to Alex Pereira. Was it? Yeah, it was to Alex Pereira. Obviously, Alex TKO'd him, but then soon got revenge. Then lost to Sean Strickland. I mean, personally, I think Sean Strickland's underrated. People say, oh, he got lucky. No, Sean Strickland is that good. Obviously, beat Israel for the title, and this is where Israel's kind of gone on a bit of a skip. Lost to Sean, lost to DDP by submission, but once again, DDP is one of the best middleweights we've ever had. And obviously, last time out, in I think it was February last year, lost to Nasruddin Imamov by KO. But obviously, we all know Nasruddin Imamov at the minute is the number one contender. We know he hasn't got the title shot, but we all know he is the rightfully so number one contender. Obviously, Israel's coming to the later part of his career. He is 36. But I feel like Israel's still got a bit in the tank, especially against some guys in the upper part of the ranked guys, like 15 to 10 and that. There's still favourable matchups there. Personally, I'd still love to see Israel v Kai Brahalio or Brahalio or however you say his second name and that. But I think the keys for victory for Israel is to slightly make it a boring fight. Don't be so trying to go in and impress people. Do what made you so good at the start, doing the kickboxing, being a sniper, constantly moving around, being elusive and all that, because Israel is one of the best strikers ever inside the UFC, People say Anderson Silva was the best striker. My hot take, I think Israel is 10 times better striker than Anderson Silva. But that's what Israel's got to do. He can't let Joe Pyfer take him down, and he's definitely got to keep it on the feet and not get hit, because we all know Joe Pyfer has got dynamite in those hands. We all know that he's shown it many times through his UFC run already. It's only been little, but he's already proven that Joe Pyfer, yes, he has got power. And Israel obviously has been a bit chinny at times in the recent times. But that's my keys for victory for Israel. Let's go on to Joe Pyfer now. So Joe Pyfer, ranked number 14. He's 15-3, not bad, with 9 wins by KO, 4 submissions and 7 first-round finishes. His notable wins, obviously he KO'd last time out Makhmudov, who was ranked 15-14. Then beat Kelvin Gastelum by decision, but looked amazing doing it. Just absolutely shut out Kelvin Gastelum. I'm sorry, Makhmudov was submission, my bad there. But, and he's lost to Jack Hermansson. He kind of got pushed a bit too quick to the top guys, but, he's bounced back pretty well. Apart from that, Joe Pyfer, his striking's decent. We know he loves to throw. He's got the power. With 9 big wins by KO, he's a problem. And obviously, there's the grappling as well. He can grapple. He showed that at times. So he's all-rounded. He's a new breed of middleweight. I think Joe Pyfer will definitely be in the top 5 sooner or later, but I don't know if it's now. I'm a big Israel fan, probably being biased here, but predictions, I think Israel will get it done by unanimous decision. I hope he does, but I'm definitely not going to be surprised if Joe Pyfer clips him or even just bear hugs him, takes him down, just ground and pound, not even ground and pound, just hold him to the ground. And because Joe Pyfer is that big and that strong, I can see him doing it. But I believe Israel's skills and experience will definitely come through against someone like a Joe Pyfer, who has, don't get it wrong, been against decent level people, but when he took a step up in class against a Jack Hermansson, who Jack Hermansson now is not very good at all. So going against someone like an Israel Adesanya, I don't see him doing the same stuff he's been able to do against a Makhmudov or a Kelvin Gastelum and that. But they're my predictions, Let me know what you guys think on, obviously, Israel Adesanya v Joe Pyfer. Who do you think is going to win? Like I said, I'm going with Izzy. I'm a big Izzy fan and that. But most importantly, if you are a fan of MMA content, make sure to drop a subscribe, a like, a comment. I love hearing people's predictions and what they think about the fights and whatnot. And stay tuned, because we will be uploading a boxing prediction in Moses Atamo versus Jermaine Franklin. So stay tuned for that. But most importantly, enjoy the show Saturday night, guys. In a bit.